Welcome to Line by Line, where we show you how to make your mark in the arts. Today we have some very interesting and wonderfully artful people and technical people. We're going to show you how both art and technology gel together. Okay. Today we have with us Cheryl Whitaker. She is the fashion merchandising coordinator under the Consumer Arts and Science uh, Center of Excellence at HCC. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me.
And then we also, on the technical side, have Samir Saber, Dean of HCC Digital and Information Technology Center of Excellence. Welcome to the show, Samir.
Hey.
Okay, so we're going to show you how these two are going to gel together, not just the people, but the industries. So let's start real quick with Cheryl. Tell us, well, first of all, you both have something coming up. The Artificial Intelligence, it's the Gulf Coast Annual Conference. Let me start with Samir and then Cheryl. Samir, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, thanks. We're really excited about this conference. It's coming up next week, so it's March 30th and 31st. It's our second annual conference. We had one last year, and it was really impactful in terms of. So what it is we bring academia and industry and all the students together in a 2-day conference. It's day long. We have students, we have academic leaders from industry, we have professionals. It's all under one, ecosystem that brings, the theme of AI in many different industries, so including diversity in AI, healthcare, things around climate change, all the tools that are out there, and of course, fashion merchandising from show. So last year it was great in terms of even recruiting faculty or just community awareness. And of course, this year, everyone is talking about AI, so it can be a better time to do it again.
Absolutely. And Cheryl, you're going to be one of the presenters, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
I am, yes. Samir was kind enough to ask me to participate this year. So we're looking forward to showcasing how the fashion industry is incorporating AI into the day-to-day business.
Okay, very good. So I know that Samir can only stay with us for a few minutes. That technology people, they're all over the place. Anyway, not that fashion isn't, but anyways, Samir, tell us a little bit more. How do you see AI being involved in so many different industries, especially the art industry? You wouldn't necessarily thought years ago that art and technology would be that close together. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this is the STEAM movement, as we call it, has been around for a while. It just hasn't been as commonly known, but it's been there. Arts is very much a huge core of what's going on. And actually, part of what's moving all this AI stuff that you see lately is really NVIDIA, and NVIDIA at the technical side of things. It's really the graphics, the GPUs, and for a long time they knew it was coming. And so when it comes to arts these days, you hear just this week alone, NVIDIA had their GTC, and it's their global technology conference where they release all their new cool stuff. And so they announced Picasso, which is a generative AI image generator, right? That they're launching. Adobe just announced Firefly yesterday. And you've heard about DALL-E, and you hear about, all the stuff that Cheryl's doing with fashion merchandising. So absolutely, arts is at the heart of AI right now in terms of graphics, designing, 3D renderings, modeling, even generative drug research right now. For example, NVIDIA launched yet another product this week to let students or whoever model molecules and using templates and trying out drugs that might work. I mean, this stuff is happening every day, which is amazing.
Well, tell me, do students, when I think of technology, or especially when you're trying to come up with a algorithm or something like that, do students that are going into AI, do they need to have a lot of math and science behind them? How does that work?
No, they don't. To be honest, these days, going back to the art piece, it's the technology side of things are getting easier and easier. It's more of allowing you to create. So creativity is actually the number one thing now, believe it or not. It's so the new role, the new title you'll see is, you know, prompt engineering. That kind of, so knowing how to interact with the AI, right? So to your question, you know, we train our 2-year degree and our upcoming bachelor's degree that we're launching. It's our mission is really to train the generalists, the technicians that can apply the technology to the small businesses, to make use of it to help society, right? And why is that? Because we need it more than ever, because all the big vendors, the AWSs, the IBMs, the Googles, the you name them, right? They all invest so much funding on research, and these language models and these tools that they release, they're really developed by these, you know, PhDs. Are very passionate, but someone's got to do something with these tools, and this is where we come in and we, you know, build education around it and labs and all that. And that's why you see a lot of these academies working closely with the community colleges to really bring it to real world practices.
So you kind of touched on it, but what is the need and what is the job growth for AI people? And when we say AI, that could mean a whole lot of different things. What are the different types of careers one can go into?
Yeah, so I mentioned prompt engineers one, but it's getting you know, Microsoft's Copilot tool, for example, is one that's really changing everything. Copilot it is basically taking what everyone's familiar with, the Office suite, like PowerPoint, Excel, and whatnot, and letting users just easily enhance what they're already doing, just making their lives more automated, if you will. There are pros and cons to all of this, of course, because some jobs will become kind of obsolete, but a lot of things that humans don't like to do will be better. But industry-wise, the numbers they're throwing out there, the latest research from PwC's global study is they project 15.7 trillion of an industry by 2023, and this is not just AI or just the IT industry. This is transforming all of workforce. So,
And how much does it cost? What does one have to do to get a degree? And the different degrees, you know, they have the associate degree, bachelor degree. How does that all work? Tell us a little bit about your program.
yeah, you can say an associate's degree is around 4,000, if even, and the bachelor's degree we're launching will be around 10 and 12,000. Tuition will be the same. The beauty about what we have at HEC is because we have so many industry partnerships as a school, we have the academies, and so we're able to leverage those resources because they want us to use those tools. It's kind of a different paradigm. They actually invest. They give away a lot, and they also have all these faculty enablement programs. So AWS has that right now, where they pay stipends. NVIDIA has that. Intel's doing it. Google, IBM, they're all doing it because it's a race to, you know, capturing this giant wave of a market that's really coming upon us.
So your partnerships with these companies, they're almost coming to you rather than you running after them. They're coming to you because they need employees. Is that right?
That's right. They do. And they know community colleges are it right now. They're very creative, very resilient.
Well, and you mentioned bachelor's. I mean, sometimes when you think of a community college, you don't think of them offering a bachelor's, but you will be offering a bachelor's degree. Is that correct?
That's right. Starting the fall, it's the first in the state, possibly the nation. So far, we've gone up to the White House. No one's told us. So as far as we know, we're the first two in the nation. As far as a community college, but I can tell you, other states that are doing it, that have been doing it for a while, like California, Washington State, and Florida, bachelor's degrees at the community college actually work really well because well, the affordability, of course, is a huge part of it, right? More access. Comparing our degree with, in Houston, $50,000 minimum for a bachelor's degree, this is like unheard of, right? But it's the community, so it's that ecosystem, it's the hands-on, it's the wraparound services, and when you put all that together, you get unique synergies. Just so I'm really thrilled, and I know Cheryl is too, of what our students are building and doing with all these tools. So for us, we're having a lot of fun. We've seen it coming, but now we're just in the middle of it,
And Cheryl, from the artistic side, just real quick, because we've got to let Samir go, but how do you guys feel working with technology? A lot of times artistic people say, well, I don't want to get into the technology part, but actually it's helpful, right?
It is, but to your point, when you're introducing technology to students, they're a bit nervous about it. I can't tell you how many times I hear, but I'm not technical. And so that's understandable. I mean, I think it's fun, it's innovative, it's innovation, and it's long overdue in the fashion industry. But when you're teaching fashion students, you really have to ease them into it. Because there is a little fear of the word technology. It's almost like saying, let's work a calculus problem. But, eventually they come around to it when they see what's possible, but you do have to ease them into it.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We're going to take a real quick break, and we're going to talk more to Cheryl about the fashion and all that. But Samir, we really appreciate you being on the show and telling us all about it. Now, just real quick, if people want to get into the AI program, any of your programs, where do they go? How do they get more information?
Sure, it's hccs.edu/AI.
Okay, well, that's pretty easy. I can remember that. Okay, thank you so much for being with us. But don't go away, because Cheryl and I got some more things to talk about fashion. We'll be right back.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Being prepared is a part of who you are. but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Line by Line, where we show you how to make your mark in the arts. Today, we have Cheryl Whitaker. She is the Fashion Merchandising Coordinator for the Consumer Arts and Sciences COE, or Center of Excellence for HCC. Welcome back to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've been talking about AI and the arts or fashion. And of course, we have this conference coming up. It is March 30th and 31st. But
Correct.
anyways, this is going to encompass a lot of different things about AI and fashion. And you are one of the presenters. You want to tell us a little bit about this, how this came about and how fashion and AI work together?
Sure. So I always love experimenting with new technologies and seeing how I can incorporate it into my classes, because we're just at a point in time where understanding or having some knowledge of technology is critical. And even more so in the fashion industry. One of the things the industry as a whole learned during the pandemic was, okay, these traditional processes, although they've been great, it's a $3.6 trillion industry, we've got to really embrace technology in a new way. And so with that, I am trying to get my students to embrace technology, because inevitably you'll need to see that on your resume. And it's something that puts you ahead of the game when you're trying to get that job. You need to be able to speak to it. And I'm not trying to turn them into an engineer, but to get them to understand that, one, the industry is really trying to get the attention of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And to do that, you've got to incorporate what's important to them. And so that being technology and including the sustainability aspects of it and how that can work. And so to do that, our students in preparation have to have a little bit of technology behind their belt.
So when a student signs up for fashion merchandising as their major, do you suggest, or is it in the curriculum that they take an AI course, or how does that work?
So we've been, or I have been introducing AI just this semester. The generative tools are amazing. I'm a Mid-Journey fan when version 5 just came out this week. And so I'm easing it into at least 3 classes right now, because it is a really good tool for concept development. And I can pair it with other tools such as trend reports, and it enables students to really come up with concepts faster. And they also get to see it visually. Our traditional ways of doing it might be to brainstorm on the board or to create mood boards and things like that. But generative AI allows us to develop concepts much faster. And so I think it's a great tool for students. I'm using it in my visual merchandising course, as well as fashion promotion, which is the fashion show. So our theme was developed by using AI. And this coming week, my advertising class will get their first turn at it. So for me, I think it's been a pretty good tool, and it's just showing students that they don't have to be afraid of technology.
I love it. I mean, I know when some of this first came out, when you were talking about interior design, and, you would think about, oh, what if I put a couch here and I put a picture here and I put, and you're trying to get it in your head But then with AI, you can actually see what it's going to really look like. And
Absolutely.
the same thing here. Is that true?
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. You get to an answer quicker,
Hmm.
and then you have something to build upon from there. I like what I'm doing. I like what I'm saying, but how can I push it even further? And so I think that's one of the main things that AI does for a student, especially with concept development. I can see it a little faster. Normally when you ask a creative person to just go off and create, they tend to run to Pinterest and their cell phones. But AI really gives them a visual interpretation rather quickly that they can just continually build upon.
That's wonderful. Well, how fast are the students learning it? Are they learning it faster than they think they would?
I think they're learning it faster than they think. It really, and the nerd in me thinks, oh, it's a great way to build their vocabulary. Just because when you're trying to come up with prompts, that's the beauty of generative AI. You're coming up with different words. And so instead of running to the board and, doing a brainstorming session that way, we can do it using AI.
Well, something else that I noticed that might be helpful is that since you're doing it this way, you can maybe check out data like, I don't know, surveys or whatever that would help you in your merchandising, in your planning. I don't know. What do people like? What, does this fashion work better or does that one work better? Does that also work?
You can. One of the things that I've been doing, we have a great subscription to WGSN, which is a trend reporting service. It's probably the largest one in the world. And so, most people, when you hear about trends, you think in terms of fashion, what's going to be in trend in fashion, but there are trends for visual merchandising, lighting, mannequins, you name it. There's also trends for catwalk sets. And so I've got students reading these trends. And so from there, we can take keywords out of those trend reports and we can pull them into a generative AI and come up with different designs and concepts for this upcoming spring fashion show. We can come up with window designs for visual merchandising that we can then plug into our 3D applications. So it's really giving students a well-rounded approach. And it's, I don't want to say it, but I'll say it, it's kind of like technology light because I'm not asking you to, to do any programming, but it's just a really great tool that really allows you to explore and build upon your creativity.
It's kind of like driving a car. I don't know how to fix it, and I don't know how to create one, but I definitely know how to drive one, and it's extremely useful.
Exactly. And what's also nice about the tool is even if you are trying to, it allows you to do sketches, like a simple sketch versus an actual image that looks like a photographer took it. So it really allows you to expand your creativity and to look at creativity in a different light, because we don't always associate technology with art and creativity, but it is there.
It is there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you were talking about that this is good on a resume. What is, I mean, I know that the AI industry is growing into all of these other industries. What do you see as coming as far as, I mean, do you think eventually everybody's going to have to know AI? I mean, not just because it's nice, but because you just have to know it?
I believe you do. There's so many different areas of AI, but I think we're at a point where it's really important to have that knowledge of it. I'm using generative AI, but someone who's in writing might use ChatGPT. And even with ChatGPT and generative AI, I think the biggest thing that people have to understand is all of them are in beta testing. They're not 100%. So, I mean, there's some, like, for example, Midjourney just came out with version 5 this week, and it's great. but there are some other ones out there that are trying to catch up. So, and when we talk about ChatGPT, it's really, you have to be really careful because that's where we're getting to writing. You have to be careful to understand it's still beta testing. So your output might not be accurate and you still need to verify it instead of just turning in a ChatGPT paper that you didn't check.
Yeah. Well, and again, these are tools and they're very important tools, but they were tools. So it's still, you're not replacing the creativity of the person. And that's what I think when people think of AI, artificial intelligence, they think, well, wait a minute, you're getting rid of people, but you're not, right?
No, and you bring up a very good point, and it's one thing that I wholeheartedly believe. Yes, AI is a great tool, but I'm still that person who believes you need to know the traditional methods because you won't fully appreciate AI if you don't, and you won't know if you did something good or bad if you don't have a good understanding or a good foundation based on traditional methods. AI is fun and it's really pretty, but you still need to know exactly what you're doing from a traditional perspective.
I so much agree that even with video, I mean, I remember, because I'm old, I remember how we used film and, A-roll and B-roll were really physical things. and now with the, with the digital world, it's still A-roll and B-roll, but if you didn't know what that meant before, it's harder to understand what it means electronically. You see what I'm saying? So I see what you're saying. I mean, you need to understand the basics in order to use the tools well.
You do, because some people might not, some companies you work for might not buy into all the technology, but you still want the job.
Right.
So it's still important that you understand both sides of it. Your traditional methods versus what's new.
Well, Cheryl, we really appreciate you being on, and unfortunately, we're running out of time again. So, just tell everybody real quick if they want to learn more about the fashion merchandising and that type of thing. What do they need to do?
Just jump on the HCC website and you can do a search for fashion merchandising. You'll get all of our program information.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And we are happy that you are joining us also. So just keep listening and watching to Line by Line so we can show you how to make your mark in the arts. See you next time.